situation, we're not condemning or be against of Indonesia's advancement. But to the naming of this golden generation, it is so burdening when there's a clear connotation of Indonesia's massive flaws. Now, jumping to the BOP, there are BOP where both sides of the house have to fulfill, and let's see if both sides of the house have answered from first speaker clashes. How? Proposition have to prove to you how it is very unfair for these youth to achieve an insane accolade in a very short time. And how can will be able to cater the concept to be less depressing so that we have the additional time or time to be spared and to be forgiven. Yet, opposition needs to come to this debate and have to prove to us how these youths could comprehend its task to fulfill while they're still eradicating the burden with an immediate effect when Indonesia are being covered and filled with such massive flaws. Enough with the burden of proof. I'll be rebutting some of the strange points that have been stood out from their side of the house. And firstly, let's talk about how they said that USA is not a good example and USA are already a global superpower for a long time ago. No, we think this is not true. Exactly because USA is not a good example. They are more than a century-old country. They need processes and they have to face internal adversities to even become a global superpower. Let's see the world right now. We believe the influence of the USA in the global stage could be recognized into the late 20th century or even beginning of the millennium. You cannot come to this debate saying that USA have enough resources at back then. No, USA also faces adversity from racism, slavery, and even the colonization from the UK. It's not enough backing for you to say that USA is resourceful enough, hence why we can follow into the step of them when we, in the current status quo, don't even have the same resources. Secondly, they talk about the characterization of Gen Z being enough open-minded and so on. But this is not true simply because in the current status quo, Gen Z, everyone included, even me as a debater and also opposite side of the house, are still being strictly binded into conservational values because of our peers, because of our older peers. Those people are still putting connotation for us to actually fulfill their needs before we can fulfill our own needs. This is a very complex matter, especially in a country like Indonesia. Indonesia is an archipelagoid country. It's so wide, and you cannot try to generalize how Gen Z all over Indonesia have the same mindset. Is yours another logical fallacy? Lastly, they said that Indonesia has enough human resources, starting from, let's say, the minerals and etc. No, we think this is not true, simply because they were also agreeing with our status quo, but the government is also corrupt. Exactly. The people that regulate all of our natural resources and human resources are being corrupt, do have the trace of being a corruption. How can we entrust these older peers to, let's say, to also cater and provide us and supply us for the needs in the future? Remember, the simple concept, if there was demand, there will also need supply. But let's say the status quo now. Does the government of Indonesia supply and support enough the youngsters to actually cater for the 2045 golden generation? This definitely no. We just discussed and debate about how law enforcers are being abusive and have the corruption of power. Exactly, that's a real example where Indonesia is not yet ready. Enough with the rebuttals, let's jump on into my arguments. One, let's say about the characteristic of this golden generation. A golden generation covers up an entire nation's prosperity in the sectors of A, economy, B, education, and C, even to the most extreme, how smart or intelligent the majority of population are. My first speaker has stated to you that PISA, a certified organization, concluded that Indonesia are being left behind 120 years in education. Do you think that 20 years is enough to cover up the 120 years that were being left off? Definitely not. Indonesia needs to fix its literacy, its mathematical quality, and moreover, its comprehension of logical thinking. This is simply one of the boxes being crossed and cannot be taken from opposite side of the house because it is impossible. Even if opposition claim how Indonesian people until the next 20 years can improve drastically overnight. People in here are still immoral. They are uneducated. They don't have even, let's say, a financial education. And definitely, trigger warning, we cannot progress as soon as possible when the saying of quote-unquote, bokeh pemersatu bangsa are still the reason for us to unify as a unity. We think pornography being one of the reasons for us to unify is simply dumb, and that is a famous and a popular connotation from the society. I don't make the rules, society does. B, let's talk about the provisional generation of the elder ones. The elder ones cannot be the right trendsetter or trend example simply simply because they are corrupted. I say how these national leaders are the ones that are in charge. Do you think they would put aside their, let's say, egoistic and corruptive traits in order to help us? Definitely not. Not only that, the disparity is so big, it is very not rational to even think about it is within the foreseeable future. Exactly, what are we able to achieve today? The current status quo is that we are trying to cater the Gen Z that happen to have a good traits and let's say for the next generation until they have enough generations where the hereditary of intelligence can be perceived. It took many years for China to become a global superpower like us. And it took also Russia after adversity, let's say the RCC breakdown need to happen even until Russia so that they can be successful as we want it to be. And see, Indonesia, an archipelago country, is a massive task to be handed out thinking the equality of quality. If that was opposition task, thinking they could cater the equality of quality around Indonesia, who is so big, it would be very unrealistic. Firstly, it would be very hard to spread out the balanced idea or the balanced knowledge to all of Indonesia. For example here, Island A can prosper around, let's say, agriculture, yet Island B does not have the same knowledge. Simply because the accessibility between island and island Indonesia are very massive, and Indonesia doesn't even have the logistics nor the human resources to cater all of these things. Moreover, the best case in our side of the house, if we were trying to still stick with this motion, slowly but progressively, Indonesia will grow to a superpower country, let's say in 100 years of time. Sure, it wouldn't hurt for us to just not be egoistic and try to see Indonesia being a superpower country in our lifetime, because it is more deserving for our future generations to see it with their own eyes, and so let's put our ego to the side. And the worst case, if we were not to follow with this motion, is simply because Indonesia could become a country like Argentina or Brazil, because they're trying to speed up their, let's say, development. And look at Argentina and Brazil now, they are full with corruptions, people are being demonstrated everywhere, violence are being condoned. Very proud to propose.
The second speaker of the government team spent 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Now to continue our debating, please to the second speaker of the opposition team. The time and place is yours.
Diputar langsung oleh Nur Zaitun pada 26 Agustus 2024 pada lomba debat bahasa Inggris pada Salum ke-9.
My speech, all I say here, like the second speaker said from the government side of the house, that this is just for debating, and I will not want to say bad to other people or other generation, just for the debate, okay? Yes, okay, I start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Indonesia's golden era to 2045 will achieve if all generation is work together to get it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Najib Ahmad Iqbal from the Manisan Cendekia, Aceh Timur, as the second speaker of the opposition side of the house. That okay, two contributions that I will give to this debate. First, I will crystallize the argument that given by the government side of the house team, and after that, I'll give my argument to support against this motion as the opposition. Okay, first that my rebuttal. Okay, in the government side of the house, they said about the first speaker said that about changing the curriculum more repetitively, and we want to say that with this curriculum merdeka, this is a high step for us for Indonesia golden era to 2045. Why? Because this is a big change for us to make the curriculum new curriculum. No, thank you. New curriculum, and we believe that this will help us to reach that. Okay. The secondly, about the first speaker and second speaker said about, I will say about USA as what we want to say that. Okay, we want to say that they said that USA need couple 100 years to get a golden era, and I want to say that this will they reach in couple of years, because that with the low technology and other subject that like economically, the politics situation and war, etc. And we want to say in this peace era and high development of technology of education, it will realize even with only 20 years, ladies and gentlemen and honorable judges. And they always say that old generation, they're fairly conservative, that limit us to reach that. We want to say here that, I'm sorry that old generation will die anyway. We will lead this country in the future, and we will hand this country in the future. It's about how we preparing ourselves. 20 years again, 2045, we will lead this country into the golden era. And anyway, we will hand it in this country. And about say that Indonesia lived 126 years in the education system, and we want to say that this is not point of that. We want to reach a golden era, and then
all of those three in less than 15 years, and they still want Indonesia to prosper in 20. Unrealistic, right? That is why we believe that why they keep changing and changing, because their problem, the moment there's new rumors about like a new curriculum, proves that Kurmer has a problem. Why not solve these problems before you demand as Gen Zs, as golden generations, to prosper your country if you're still uncertain of our education? That is why we believe that not every student too knows the true meaning of P5, of Pelajar Pancasila. Some people still ask, why do we have to do projects? Why do we have to do this? Why do we still need togetherness? As long as your students still think like that, it's unrealistic for you to demand we can prosper your country. And then next of all, when they say about waiting the old generation to die anyways, what the second speaker has said isn't a great solution. If anything, it's so far-fetched. How could you? Hear this. If the cycle keeps going on, there is no fixing from the start. Keep your conservative norms in this Gen Z. As long as you don't fix it, the future Gen Zs are just going to do the same thing. What happens? A problematic cycle. No ending. Who knows? 20 years, 30 years, or never developed anyways. That is why we believe here are the clash benefits that we've achieved in our side of the house. First of all, about generation quality understanding. Their claims are curriculum is enough, Gen Z is open-minded or educated enough. And we already dismantled, dismissed, broke down their case. What we believe our claim here is about the point of quality understanding. We try to